So after 5.5 hours of sleep, we left Bayfield about 10:30 in the morning, drove just over 4 hours to Minneapolis. I didn't make any videos because we were mostly on the highway. We stopped for lunch in a small town in Minnesota called Siren. Then when we got to Minneapolis, went to the airport, got Mikey his plane ticket. He's leaving tomorrow morning, flying back to Virginia. And I continued on my way towards North Dakota. I drove about 2 hours more, and now I'm about 2 hours away from the border of North Dakota. It's almost midnight. I'm dead tired. I'm going to sleep. See you in North Dakota. Just got to Fargo, and I have to say it's not what I would expect to see from the movie. It's much bigger than I thought, the whole town itself. A couple of shopping malls, you know, like these outdoor shopping malls. And now I'm going to get going and look for a particular wood chipper. You have to like this north of Normal, Fargo. That's the gift shop or the visitor center, not sure which one, but if it's a gift shop, I may very well have to buy myself a sweatshirt. So now, this is nothing but like a rest area. And now we're looking for a wood chipper because I've heard that wood chippers are very popular in Fargo. What is that? Holy cow, that's a wood chipper. That's actually the wood chipper from the movie. I think that's pretty neat. I'm probably the only person who thinks that's pretty neat. Now I'm getting a sweatshirt. And like I said, Fargo is pretty big. It's not big, but compared to the movie where you only saw them in the fields and in the backyards and the tiny police station, it's pretty big. And I just wanted to stop at the visitor center because I did hear that the wood chipper from the movie is there. So let's head to sweatshirts. Now, during my drive through North Dakota, obviously I just got into North Dakota because Fargo is right on the border of Minnesota and North Dakota. I think there's 5 towns I want to stop at. And I'm just going to run in. I'll make a video of all of them, see what they look like. They're all small towns. It's a 4.5 hour drive through Fargo, and then we'll hit Montana. Okay, so I stand corrected. This is the original wood chipper from the movie. And just to prove it to you, they still have the lady's foot in it. And I'll put a picture, the lady who works here took a picture of me behind the wood chipper because everybody wants to be behind Fargo wood chipper. Unfortunately though, they don't sell sweatshirts. And I'm guessing I can drive around town, stop by places and look for them, but let's see if she's still in there. You got your Fargo hat. I guess the police wore that. Picture of the cast. The original scraper in the movie. I don't remember that part. Limited edition snow globes. Well, the wood chipper and the car accident. I would almost get one of those. Don't think they sell them here. So I'm gonna get this picture because I figure that's good to hang in the house. I could have gotten this one, but I like the other one better. And speaking of the house, I spoke to the owner. He hired a new title company because the other one we were using Fidelity. They didn't clear the title. in the 60 days that they were supposed to, and the contract expired. So when I get back to Alaska, I think I told you already, I'm just going to move into the house, and hopefully in 4 weeks the title will clear and it'll be back in my name. So now we're going to head on to the next town in North Dakota. I think it's about 40 minutes down the road. You have to take the good with the bad. We were heading towards Tower City, and road closed, local traffic only. So we're not going to Tower City. Luckily it was only 30 seconds off of the highway. So I'm going to jump back on the highway and continue on my way, because that's the way Frank Sinatra did it. So now we've entered Jamestown in North Dakota, just a small town I saw on the list that I wanted to stop at. I don't remember why, just because it's on the way and it was a small town. I know they got hit hard by a tornado in June. Not sure where, but everything looks okie dokie. It's a cute little town. And I figured I'm not going to walk up and down these streets because I'm not a tourist. I'm currently a traveler. So I'm not going to be buying anything at the Melted Crystal gift shop. But we'll stop here because the silver car looks pretty. And you can park here. There's nothing in Jamestown I wanted to see. The only thing here is me and Johnny B's Steakhouse. But it's just one of my stops every hour. This is about 55 minutes after Tower City, which was shut down for business. Now we have Willy Wonka Jr. I'll say something I noticed between the small towns in Wisconsin and Minnesota and now in North Dakota. They're not as small as the ones I stopped at on the way from Seattle to Virginia, like in Idaho, and I think the other one was in Washington State and South Dakota. Those were really small towns. So far on this trip, there's not any place so far I would say, you know, I'd like to live. Some other information is, have you ever been stung by a horsefly? Because when I entered Fargo, I got out of the truck, I leaned against it, and I felt something like a pin in my back. And I went, what in the horsefly is that? No, actually I cursed. But then I looked and I didn't see anything on the truck. I was looking for like a piece of metal that was sticking out or something. There was nothing there. And then my back started burning on the lower backside. And then after a couple of minutes, a big bump came. I went to the pharmacy. So the first thing I actually stopped at in Fargo was the pharmacy. And I said to the lady, I can't see my back. Tell me what bit me. Really embarrassing, but I felt a lump coming and I wasn't sure what bit me. I thought maybe there's a stinger there, but I didn't feel anything. She looked and she said, oh, that looks like a horsefly bit you. And I got some cream. And I'll tell you, it's been like roughly 2 hours. And I still feel a little bit of a pinch. I will tell you that it wasn't pleasant when it happened. And it's still not pleasant now. It feels like I have a baseball like tied to my back. Doesn't hurt. It's not really swollen much anymore. In fact, the swelling's gone down quite a bit. Probably the cream helped. That was my interesting story with Fargo. Now we're going to go on to the next town. I don't remember if it's 10 minutes away or 50 minutes away. This is my kind of town. I'm in the center of town now, and I see the United States Post Office of Dawson, North Dakota. And if you go down here, you see the rest of downtown, including a little diner, Yankee Doodle Diner. And this is what I wanted to do, eat in a place like this, but I'm just not hungry right now. And there's a tank over there, so we're definitely going to go and look at that. And there's these buildings that I'm assuming no one else lives in. Maybe we can go knock on that guy's front door. I decided I don't want to get cooked for dinner. I'm not knocking on that guy's front door. This is a Veterans Memorial. And I know that because it says Veterans Memorial. That's pretty neat. And you got gas, $2.85 a gallon. That's not bad. Got the little diner again. This is the town. That's all we've got. The town of Dawson. I like ye. So the next stop is only 10 minutes away. I forget what it is, but I know we'll be there shortly. You know, I'm also curious. I saw they have the business hours for the post office. I got to check how many people live in this town. I'm going to guess 3. Let's see when they're open. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. Saturdays 8:45 to 10:45. So right off the highway we have Sandy, the world's largest sandhill crane. But Dawson was the first town in North Dakota that I would say I'd consider moving to. The only thing I didn't like about it was if you wanted to get anywhere you had to get right on 95, and I don't like highways. Pause it to read. Pause it to read again. That is a pretty large crane. So now we're on our way to the next town, which is 1 hour, 9 minutes away. But there's very little traffic. I can get there in 51 minutes. So this is the town, we will call it, of Salem, Sioux. Right now they have a festival going on. I don't really know. You see up there on the hill it says New Salem. It appears like this town has 2 names, New Salem or Salem, Sioux. It could be that it used to be called Salem, Sioux, and now it's called New Salem, but I like Salem, Sioux better, so we're going with that. They do have a Dollar General store here. Other than that, just horses. And I won't go in the festival. If I was staying here, I would, and I almost stayed here. It's pretty cheap, $89 a night. But I decided to drive another hour and 20 minutes to the next town. I've been going since 10 in the morning and now it's 6. So see you in the next town. It's called Dickinson. So I thought I'd make this video before I go to sleep with the birds chirping. And tonight I'm staying in Dickinson, North Dakota. I have about 2 hours to go to get to Montana. On the way there, there's only 2 more things in North Dakota to see. We're going to be seeing one more small town called Beach. I believe that's about 37 minutes before we get to Montana. And the last thing we're going to see is, an overlook. I almost forgot. An overlook. So those are the only 2 things in a 2-hour drive. I'll do them tomorrow on the way to Montana. And then this video will end. I won't say goodbye because right after that I'm going to continue my way into Montana, and that'll be the next video. Definitely the nicest town I liked in North Dakota was Dawson. Fargo you have to like. That was just fun to visit. I wouldn't want to live there. Fun to visit. Dawson, I would live there if they removed the highway and put a grocery store there instead. This part of North Dakota is pretty neat. So far, North Dakota, the drive has been highway, a few cornfields, but now we got to a little nicer landscape. And if there's a pull-off, I will, but at the same time, haven't seen any. And we're only going to one place now in North Dakota that's left. The overlook was 40 miles out of the way. So that's 80 miles round trip to look at probably something like this from a boardwalk. Not worth it. So we're just going to the town of Beach. And then after that we're hitting Montana. I wonder if people in North Dakota say, let's go to the beach. And then they come here. Looks like a very nice neighborhood out here. Not many stores. That could be a good thing. I don't like it out here because it's too nice for me. I don't see any abandoned buildings and dirt roads. But this is definitely a nice little area to live. I would say probably the nicest one I've seen in North Dakota that wasn't like a small city. Oh, everybody has a stop sign here. It's a good thing. So much traffic. We're in the business district. This would be my second favorite town in North Dakota, right behind Dawson.